I wish my hair would grow back. Do you want more? I have more. Here, just take it all. Just take it all. Just give me my hair back. Yay! How's it going? Today we're going to be building this beautiful wishing well. It's made out of cedar. It makes a great yard decoration. Could cover up a little well head if you have one in your yard. There's also a shelf in here where you can put some flowers. It's not a difficult build, a little more advanced than some of the ones we've been doing, but we'll get started on it right now. First off, I wish these people would subscribe to my channel. For those of you that have been watching my videos, you see that I come to this miter saw station quite a bit. If you want to build one of your own, I will link, I'll put a link in the description. Right now I'm setting up one of my stop blocks. What this allows me to do is make repetitive cuts at the same length. I'm taking the 2x4 and I'm going to cut this to 21 inches. Then I'm going to go over to the table saw and I'm going to cut this in half. I want 4 pieces of these total. These are going to make my corners for my base. So it starts as a 2x4, then I'm going to split it. Now I've got these 2 pieces, so it's going to be 1.5 inches by 1 3/4 inches. I'm just cutting it straight down the middle. And there we go, 4 pieces. From there, I'm going to cut the base backer. This is what all the cedar shingles are going to staple to later on. I bought just fence posts for this. They're pretty cheap. It was cheaper than plywood. Whatever you buy to build this, you're going to want it to be able to handle a lot of weather or being in contact with the ground. So I've cut 16 of those, and I'm going to put them side by side. These are the 2 pieces that the 4 pieces that we had just cut, and I'm just going to spin that over and hit it with, I believe I'm using 1-inch nails on this. And that'll hold it. We're going to do some screwing of these later on, so it's really just to hold it in place. And I'm going to do the same to both sides. And again, I'm overkilling with nails here. I don't think I was planning on screwing it, and then later on I decided that it did need some screws. And I'll show you the screws later on. So once I put these 2 3/4 inch pieces, they're actually technically 5/8, it gives me the 24 inches across the front. This is just 1.5 inches leftovers from the fence posts, and I'm stapling all of these together with that. I'm going to put 3 of these in there, 1 on the top, 1 on the bottom, and 1 right through the middle at 10.5 inches. And there's our first panel. Absolutely got to make sure that it's square, and I'll set that aside. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing. Once that's done, I set it aside. The other panels are going to be slightly longer because they're going to overlap the panels that we just made. So you can see a small spacer in the middle. That just extends that out. This is a full 24 inches. But it's not going to get the 2x4 posts on the sides because those are already attached to our other panels. This one was spread out a little bit, so I used my clamp to pull it together before I nailed it. Handy clamps, can never have too many. And like I said, I come back through and I use some screws. These are special screws, they're deck screws. They have a pre-drill at the front. So you'll say, hey, I see you pre-drilling stuff all the time. Why didn't you pre-drill this? These pre-drill themselves, so I don't have to worry about splitting wood. Now I'm going to come over to the cedar. I'm taking one of the 8-foot lengths and I'm going to get 3 or 4 21-inch pieces out of it. Then I'm going to take those 21-inch pieces and I'm going to cut them so that I have a 3 1/4 inch piece and a 2 1/4 inch piece. When attached, it will give me 3 3/4 inches on both sides. I'm using glue and 2-inch finish nails to attach these. The glue I'm using is rated for indoor and outdoor use, and there's one of 4. I've taken the 2x4 and put 45s on each side so that I can shore up these corners. Okay, after that I'm going to put the corner trim pieces on with just a few nails. I won't be putting screws into these. The top of the base is just 1x6 cedar. I've 45'd all the edges like a picture frame. I'm going to use pocket holes to attach these and some glue. On the 45, I'm just putting 2 screws into it, as you can see. If you don't have a pocket hole jig, you can just glue this and clamp it as best you can. I liked a little extra support. So as I said, I'm going to give it some glue. As you can see, I've clamped it to my workbench just to hold it in place. Pocket screws can have a tendency to pull your piece out of where you've left it. You can lift it or make it unsquare. So I am going to make sure this is nice and tight in place, then put my pocket screws in. The screws that I'm using are those same screws as before. You want to make sure that everything that you're using on this is going to be rated for outdoors. By gluing and screwing this, I'm pretty sure this is going to last forever. I hope so. It's a lot of work. Later on, I'll attach this with pocket screws from underneath so you won't see them. With the base complete, I'm going to move on to the risers. These are the pieces that go from the base to the roof. These are 5 feet long. I'll cut them to length here on my handy dandy miter saw, and then I'm going to take them over to the table saw and cut them down to 3 and I believe 3 1/4, maybe 3 1/2 inches. I can't remember the exact measurement I did. I believe it's 3 1/2. Let's go 3 1/2. That piece that I cut off will get used later on, so don't throw that away. Actually, cedar's insanely expensive. I'm leery to throw any of it away. I've got one rounded side and one really sharp square side, so to match the sides, I'm just going to take my palm sander and give both edges a quick round over, just so they match. We'll take those back to the miter saw, and I'm going to cut the roof angle in this, so 45 degrees on both sides, and it'll bring it to a point. I could have just flipped this piece around, but I wouldn't have been able to see my mark, so instead I'm going to readjust my saw to 45 degrees on this angle, or on this side. Then I'll make the cut, and there's our roof pitch. Inside the base, I've put these spacers so that our riser will sit flush straight up and down. I'm going to mark the center of our riser, and I've also marked the center of the base, so that mark and that mark will touch. I'll make sure the bottom touches our little spacer that we made. Clamp it because I don't have a third hand. And then using those same pre-drill screws, I don't have to make a pre-drill, they'll pre-drill themselves. I'll screw into the cap that we put on the base, and I'll also go below, and I'll make sure it gets screwed into the bottom. And both risers are installed exactly the same. Now we're going to cut the roof angles. These would be on, I guess, what you would call the gable side of our wishing well roof, and these will be what the roof actually attaches to. These are going to attach to the risers. You'll see that in a minute. So I'm going to cut a 45 into one side, move it down, and then measure out, and I will cut this 45 as well. I'm going to do this 4 times. I'll use my first piece as a gauge to cut all the pieces. That way I know they're all exactly the same. With those cut, I'll bring them over and I will glue and screw them to my riser. First thing I'm going to do is just hit it with a couple of nails to hold it in place. I'm going to screw it from the back side. Now you can see the roof line really starting to take shape. And as I said, I'm going to screw everything from the back side. These won't necessarily be hidden, but they won't show up as well as if I had done it from the front. You know, it's decoration. Should be pretty. These cross pieces are the leftovers that I said to save from earlier. I'm measuring the center on these, then I'm going to take our first board and I'm going to line it up on that center. The rest of the pieces are going to build off of this board, so make sure you have it lined up just right on those marks. I'm going to put a nail in just to hold it, then I'll make sure everything's lined up, then I'll get another nail in. I'll show you later on how I'm going to make a perfect line of nails down that. From there, I'm going to line everything up. Taking my straight edge and I'm measuring up the roof line from that original nail that I put in that first board. I think it was about 5¼ inches. This allows a little bit of space for my nail gun to touch right up against that straight edge. Now every nail that goes in will be perfectly lined up. Some of you may be watching this and going, well, why didn't you just nail it from the back? That's a great question. I asked myself that same question after I built this. Future reference, nail it from the back side. But considering I did it this way, I should at least show off how nice and straight those nails came out. It doesn't look bad, they're finished nails, but again, sometimes you get in your head you're going to do it one way, and then after it's done, you realize, oh crap, I could have done it a different way. I'm using my combination squared to make sure that the depth on the bottom is the same as the top. Once this board is lined up, I'll know the rest of the boards are going to go on perfectly. These boards are just slightly longer than the boards on the other side because they overlap that roof line. So I'm using 1-inch boards. These boards are 1 inch longer. If you don't want to put a shelf in this, you can move on to how to put on the cedar shingles. But my client wants a shelf, and honestly, I think it's a nice touch. Be able to put flowers in here or any other bit of decoration. I'm just putting in these pieces of 2x4 that I've cut in half again. So this is 1¾ inch by 1½ inch. I didn't drill any pocket holes. I am just toenailing these screws in. Toenailing just means coming in from the angle like that. And I'm going to staple in this mesh. This won't hold any standing water and it'll keep it from rotting out a lot faster. With that stapled in place, we're going to move on to cedar shingles. You can buy all styles of this. I wanted to have kind of a rustic, yeah, nice smile. I wanted to have kind of a rustic look on this. So the first course is just going to go flush with the bottom. I'm doing what's known as a 5-inch reveal, so I'm measuring 5 inches. I want to make sure my staples are going above that 5 inches so they don't show, and the next course of shingles that I put on will cover those nails, or staples, excuse me. I'm using 1/2-inch staples. I made what's known as a story stick. This will just let me repeat all my measurements, so that little lip will fit on the bottom of the next course of shingles. And now I know that my next course is 5 inches on that. Pretty handy. I've shingled a lot of houses, so this has come in handy many, many times. Now I'm just going to get a rough estimate on how many shingles I need for that run. Then I'm going to take it over to my miter saw, and I'm just going to make sure that I don't cut too much off because I do want some shingle behind there. See, they're not too small. And I'm staying above my 5-inch mark. Now that last piece is not going to fit in perfectly, so we're going to have to cut it. Cedar shingles cut real easy, so I'm going to make a mark at the top, and then I'm going to make a mark at the bottom, and I'll connect my line in between. I'm going to use a razor knife to cut this. You don't need a saw. I'm going to use just another shingle for a backer, and I'm going to trace my line. I'm not cutting all the way through the first run. Make a nice easy line, then the next couple of lines have a track to go through. Once I've got a couple, it'll snap right off and fit in perfectly. And then a few more staples. Then we move on to the next course. Again, it's too tall. I'm going to take my story stick. I'm going to make a 5-inch line. With that made, I'm going to take my shingle and I'm going to turn it upside down so that the thick side is facing up right now. I'm going to find that line that I made, and I'm going to make another line on my shingles. Now I know the measurement of those shingles will be perfect. Use my story stick just to make sure they're in the right spot. Line them all up as I go. The last shingle in this run is too wide, so I'll cut it the same way I did before with the razor knife. This very top course, I want to make sure that the shingles meet my 5-inch line, but also touch exactly the bottom of that cap that we put on the base. Now I'm using a razor knife to cut, but then I also can take a hand plane and make this perfectly smooth. Another little trick. Now, I'm not using staples on this last run. I'm using 1-inch finish nails, and those are going to hide a little bit better along that top run. And with that, we have a finished well. It didn't grant my wish to grow my hair back, but hopefully the video, under its own merit, has at least inspired you to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet, now would be a great time. I'm going to call my clients and let them know that their well is done, and I hope you got something out of this video. Until next time, never stop learning. Bye.